would you say is your favorite non-technical, like non-computer hobby?
I mean, there's still computers involved, but I like to do some astrophotography, which is,
Mhm.
when you take like a telescope and you hook up some cameras to it and just do like either time lapses or long exposures of the night sky. That's my favorite, but it conflicts with sleep, so I don't do it as much these days.
What are you doing lately? Conflicts with sleep. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I am so excited to chat with my dear friend and former colleague, Hector Ramos, from the very recently launched Wallfacer, funded by Vermilion, as well as Maria Palma at Freestyle. Hector has raised a pre-seed round to fund what he's building. And unlike a lot of the founders that I back, I've worked like very closely with Hector. Like there's not even a need for me to ask a lot of these questions for my own sanity because I know everything about Hector, I think. But we worked together many years ago at a company called Parse. It was a mobile app platform that developers loved, and then Facebook acquired it. And Hector and I and our team got to travel together all over the world to meetups, events, conferences, drink ups, everything you can imagine, spending time with developers that wanted to talk about Parse and software development. It was really like a moment of joy for all of us, I think, and I would do it again in a heartbeat if given the opportunity. So yeah, welcome, Hector. It's so good to see you.
So good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah. So I know again a lot about your background, but for everyone else, like, how did you get your start in tech?
I mean, it's been a lifelong thing. I've been coding since I was a child, basically. Like, just got into like video games and making mods and so on. And uh, yeah, later went on to college to like actually learn proper software engineering. And then I grew up in Puerto Rico, so this was back there. I spent a few years after college working at like a financial services company for the biggest bank in Puerto Rico. And that was interesting because it's like a place where I learned like proper engineering and like the consequences of like making mistakes when you're, especially when you're dealing with financial data. So yeah, that was like my start. And then after a few years there in Puerto Rico, I got like the startup itch, and I moved to San Francisco and joined Parse. And I mean, that's where it all started. Really,
Yeah,
that's where I met you. And yeah.
yeah, we were kind of thrown into the fire. I feel like when you joined Parse, I feel like you kind of joined fully formed. And I now that I think about it, it's probably because you're working in financial services, which is a very different environment than like Parse startup world and like a very questionably small office that's like directly behind me that we worked out of. Um, but yeah, like talk to me a bit about like your first few weeks at Parse. Were you just like, oh my god, these people are crazy, or were you like, this is incredible, this is like what I want from my life?
No, yeah, it was incredible. Like, actually, when I moved to San Francisco, I still did not have a job. I just knew like I wanted to,
Yeah,
get out of the island and just like be where everything was happening. It just fortunately happened to everything line up. Where like when the Parks founder saw that I was moving, we set up the interview, and all of a sudden, like I have a job
yeah,
right after I moved. So it was kind of like at the same time that I started at Paris, and I'm exploring this new city for the first time. So it was super interesting. It was, like you said, it was a small, scrappy office. We were all working together out of the same room, and these were like the smartest people I had ever met, ever
yeah,
worked with. Like it was just incredible, just working with this group of people.
yeah.
Like really those first few years at Parts were like the best, the best in my career. Like I really like enjoyed my time there. It was so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I agree. And like I think it's been so interesting to see how we all have been overlapping in each other's lives even oh god, 15? No. 12, 14 years later. Like
Yeah.
we can run into each other and like chat. I can go for a walk with Charity, no problem. Sometimes I'll text with Christine. Like I talk to like yeah, B all the time. Like it really is like people always say like jobs aren't family because they can fire you, and that is totally true. It's like totally true. But Parse was, I think, a very very special environment. So yeah, I enjoyed those days a lot. And then you and I and Scott Smith, who was our lovely salesperson, we got sent all over doing this thing. Was it called FB Start, like Facebook Start or
Yes.
something? And we went everywhere, and that was kind of our lives for like a year. And we did FA, so it was. I think it was truly an interesting point, an inflection point in time, and that's when mobile was like the hot, new thing, so to speak, and we got to ride that wave. And it's kind of similar to how AI is new-ish. Well, this iteration of AI and it being coding, agents and things like that is reminds me of that mobile time when mobile was the hot new thing. And I think it's been interesting to watch both of our careers. We're like, oh, this is fun. We should work on this. And so I would love to understand like Wallfacer, like what is Wallfacer? Tell me about the name. I know it's a nerdy name, but I want to make sure everyone understands it. Like, tell me what your thinking was there.
Yeah. First about the name, it comes from like a series of books, and basically what the name means is like um, there's this uh, immense threat coming to humanity, but it's gonna take 400 years to get here. So this group of people called the Wallfacers are given the world's resources to basically come up with a plan to deal with that threat, but you cannot ever communicate those plans outside of your mind because this threat that's coming can spy on us. So it's kind of like an illusion of like you're given the most resources to do whatever you need to do, control, mobilize armies, agents, and so on. So I thought it was appropriate for this coming AI era where like we're just
Yeah.
dealing with fleets of agents. So that's where the name comes from. And a wall facer, like you said, when we joined Parse, that was like right when like mobile was hot and people were everybody knew they wanted an app, but you had to not just work on the app, you had to also work on the back end. And Parse was like the first really like successful backend as a service for mobile apps. And just to explain how to go to Wellfacer after Parse, I work on the React Native team where it was kind of like the next phase. Like backend is solved, you still have people that like need to work with the front end. And working with React Native, we just basically created that framework where like, okay, all you need to know is JavaScript, and you can build and deploy these applications for basically any platform. So we sold backend and front end. So over the past few years, after working on those different teams, as AI has basically taken over the world, um, I started reflecting on like, okay, this has really gave me like tools to like work, provide so much output.
Hmm.
Like I'm starting to feel like the edges. I'm starting to see the cracks in the process, and like there's a better way. There must be like a better way to develop with these tools, with these agents. And I could see like, okay, the developer tools are not ready, are not there yet. Like they're still made for a world pre AI, pre agents. So that's what basically led me to Wallfacer, where I started thinking about what was it that I needed, what was it that I could build to help me just not speed myself up as I was doing using all these tools, but like how can I make sure that the whole team, the whole org, the whole company can actually take full advantage of these new tools. So that's basically what led me to creating Wallfacer.
Okay, great. And so, I mean, I think that we're so early in the AI, being able to create code or software engineers using AI coding tools like Claude and things to create. But you were pretty early. Like you got excited before anyone else I know, and I think you started toying around with it pretty early. And I think that was interesting to watch because, there's people who say you can never have this kind of code in production that's been created by an agent. And you were like, well, I think you can't. And I think that I watched that thought line go into Wallfacer. And I do think that, with like, imagine a human team, right? We have all these teams work, or these people working together to build software. It gets messier the more people you add, right? Like, it's never going to be like, oh, we hired 10 new engineers, the code is better. And so I think there's a divide between people who are, I still hate this phrase, vibe coding on side projects versus engineers working on teams, because when you add more humans and you add more agents, it gets more complex. And there's more bugs, there's more, complaints in the comments, some spicy words, which are kind of always fun to go read those GitHub comment threads, frankly. Um, when did you realize, like, okay, this is real? It's going to be a problem because there's more things to orchestrate. And then what specifically is Wallfacer trying to do to make that better?
Yeah, like you said, like I've been using these tools for a while, like way long before like the recent boom of like everybody realizing, yes, this works.
Yeah.
Um, a year ago, I was working at this startup, and Claude Code had just came out, and as I was using it and trying out tools like Cursor and so on, I brought it up with my team, and we all had been like slowly like moved from like just copy pasting snippets from like Claude on the web to a specific file to like using Claude Code to actually do things. And when I brought that up with the team, we all decided, okay, let's give this a try. This can actually let us move faster in this startup. And we actually were like shipping features in a week that we had like budgeted for like next quarter. So that's when I first saw like how these tools could like really like empower the engineering teams to move faster. But quickly I started seeing the issues with this. The first one that like a lot of people have run into is like code reviews. When every team member on your team is now 10x in their output, then code reviews quickly became the bottleneck. Like um, even if you had all the processes in place and you were not just vibe coding, you were like actually doing proper planning and creating great code through the agents, you still have like this bottleneck of like there's too many pull requests to review. So that was the first thing. Um, but that has been like there's solutions to that have come out. You can have agents do the code reviews for you. That gives you more confidence. So as I kept thinking about it, I made this realization that I work at Meta for 10 years, and the Meta, when I joined, it was like 3,000 engineers. I mean, by the time I left, it was like tens of thousands of engineers.
Yeah.
And I made the connection that like, okay, we had all this tooling in place to handle having thousands of engineers committing code on the same monorepo, on the same code base, without stepping over each other. And that's like not too dissimilar to what the problems we're seeing now with having each person on your team having multiple agents.
Yep.
So I started thinking about like what was the infrastructure we had in place, the processes we had in place, and one of them was like we had these on-demand servers where like you did not just code on your laptop at Meta. You could just spin up and get like this fully set up developer environment, all set up to run either like the mobile app or the website, all ready to go. And it took just seconds for it to warm up and come up. So that was basically the first thing that I brought into Wallfacer. We have this basically ephemeral VMs ready to go. When you add your project, we automatically configure the environment. We figure out what we need to get up and running to support your project. And as you're working with these agents, you can actually just preview the work they've done, because if it's a website, we know how to like run the app server and serve the website on like this preview environment. If it's a mobile app, we can actually spin up and run the iOS simulator on a Mac machine and just stream the simulator to your device, wherever you are, so you can like fully develop a mobile app from an iPad without being like stuck at your desk.
Right.
So yeah, like we're just I'm just bringing all the infrastructure to help us just move faster with all these agents.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so, like, the concept is we're treating AI workflow as a first class persistent unit of work, I think. And so teams are working differently in an AI native world. We know that. And so the changes, to how we review or pause or return to work are just different because we can go like have lunch or get a coffee and there's still stuff happening in the background and it's just not code compiling, right? Like that I liked using that was always our excuse to like go get lunch. Like the code's compiling. It's actually like code is happening and shipping and now when we take our breaks. And so what do you think teams that you've seen that are what are they doing well that sets them up to be able to do that in a way that's like really efficient?
Yeah, I think the ones that are like better prepared for this new way of working are the ones that are like just really taking a good look at um, where are humans still in the loop and where can agents just do that job better. I mentioned code reviews earlier, but it's not just code reviews. It's just um, can we do we need to wait for a human to deploy to merge a PR? If you can like set up your system where you're not waiting on humans and you have the confidence that these agents are just doing their job, these are the companies are just gonna be able to move way faster in this new era.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's right. Have you put ClaudeBot on a Mac Mini yet?
Yes, I have two of them. Yeah, I still call it CloudBot. Yeah, I have. We have a Wallfacer CloudBot. Helps out a lot with like deploys and so on. And I have a personal CloudBot at
Yeah,
uh, Mac Mini at home.
I've been playing around with it. It's a lot of fun. I think
Yes.
that like I think a lot of technical people are very curious, and so I think it's a fun time for people that are very curious because there's something new every day to play around with. I don't know if I'm seeing it, I'm sure you are as well, that a lot of people are trying to build versions of the same thing because everything like in AI is still sort of shaking out. We're not quite sure what it's going to look like. Um, and so, yeah, it's just a fun time to be building and creating and learning new things. So I'm excited you were so early to it, and I'm excited that you've created something that you feel um, actually fits in because I think it does make sense, especially when you're working on a team. Um, but yeah, I am like I'm happy we get to work together again. It's not exactly the same, like we're not like in the same room all the time and around all of our Parse team, but you are working with someone that I love dearly, like that I know from my Twilio days, which is wild, Jonathan Grisati. So you built such a great team, and I'm excited to see. What happens.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had this much fun just working because like now the question is not how long is it gonna take. It's just okay. Do we need to build it? And it just gets built.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. It's. I think there was a lull in tech. It feels like I think maybe like crypto was the thing everyone was doing, so like a bit of a lull. And then now again, it's like all the developers are like, oh my god, it's our time again, and it's been a blast. It's really fun on my side because I get to see kind of everything that's happening, um, but which is a little bit too much right now because I'm like I can't keep up. I have to learn about everything, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I want to do a quick speed round where I'm just going to ask you like very, very hopefully easy questions and you answer quickly about tech, life, everything.
All
Ready?
right. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
What did you ship in the last 7 days?
Oh, in the last 7 days, so now we have live activities on the iPhone app, so you can see what's going uh, on your app, what the agent is working on, and yeah, we just shipped iOS app previews in the app itself.
Oh, awesome. What is the first thing that you built that made you feel like I built something like a real builder?
Oh, it was yeah. When I was a teenager, I was just people didn't know I was like 14, but I created this mod for a video game, and I just had like level designer and a 3D modeler, and just
Yeah.
seeing that game come to life, like that was the first thing that, like, okay, yeah, I love this. I'm gonna do this.
Amazing. Okay. What do you think is kind of your unfair advantage as a founder, technical or otherwise?
I mean, I've been working with developer tooling for what, like 15 years now. So that's one thing, and the other thing is resilience. Like I'm so resilient. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. How do you know when a feature is done?
Um, when I feel like I can look at it at 2 a.m. and like, okay, yeah, this looks like something we can ship, and yeah,
What motivates you the most on bad days?
my kids. I have three kids, and just seeing them after work and just getting to spend time with them.
Yeah, they're pretty
That's
great. I
yeah.
I know you have a lot of hobbies, but what would you say is your favorite non-technical, like non-computer hobby?
I mean, there's two computers involved, but I like to do some astrophotography, which is,
Mm.
when you take like a telescope and you hook up some cameras to it and just do like either time lapses or long exposures of the night sky. That's my favorite, but it conflicts with sleep, so I don't do it as much these days.
It sounds like
I
everything that
mean,
you're doing lately conflicts with sleep.
yeah,
Do you like to build in public or do you like to stay quiet?
I I think I like doing a mix of both. I like to stay quiet and just have like a few trusted early design partners. And once I feel like things are going the right way, I'll just, yeah,
Yeah,
fully build out in public.
totally. I think I know your answer to this. Do you prefer remote or in person?
Remote,
Yeah, yeah,
remote. It's like, yeah. I'm not in the Bay Area right now, and like the weather is so good right now. So yeah, remote.
yeah. It's rainy right here, as you can imagine. I'll actually be where you're at in a week and a half, as you know.
Yes.
So, um, and then what is your favorite Puerto Rican specific food?
Ooh,
It can be multiple things. It can be like a list.
I think I always fall back to like a good mofongo. Uh,
Okay. What is
yeah,
mofongo?
mofongo is like you take plantains, not ripe plantains, but like plantains that are not sweet yet, and
Yeah.
you just like mash them up, fry them, mash them up again, and then kind of serve it with like either a chicken stew or garlic shrimp over it. It's just that's
Oh
my
my,
favorite
that
Puerto Rican
sounds
food.
amazing. All right. What's your favorite place to go in Puerto Rico that's not like your hometown?
Um, it's always the beach. Like
Yeah.
there's some great places that are kind of like off the beaten path, and it's just so beautiful. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it's an incredible place. So, as you know, I've spent some time there.
yeah.
Not lately. I need to go visit again.
It's been a
Uh,
while for me as well.
yeah, yeah. Well, it was so good to see you. Thank you for
Yeah,
spending
same.
a morning with me, and I'm just excited to work with you again and watch what you're building at Wallfacer.
I'm so excited to be working with you.
Yep. Bye.
All right, bye.